Hello and welcome back to the Jules with Jim podcast. I am your host GiGi and I hope you're doing well. If you're new, welcome. I'm honored to have you here. And if you're returning, I'm humbled to have you back. And to all my new subbies, welcome, welcome, welcome. You are the VIPs indeed. And even if you are a subscriber that is returning, thank you ever so much for the support. I hope you and I can continue to share on this journey because it's definitely not a destination. So as I've mentioned in my previous videos, there are a total of 12 houses, and each house is basically a segment or an area of life. Each house has a ruler, and that ruler can be any of the 12 zodiac signs. And I last spoke about the 6th house. So after working on ourselves in the 6th house, we now step into the house of partnership. And dare I say, the 7th house is probably everyone's favorite. Everyone always has this almost undying thirst for who is the one for them. What would they be like? What would their partner be like actually when they would meet them? Would it even last? Etc, etc, etc. I mean, I don't really have to go any further. I can just YouTube and search soulmate and I'd see millions of people, including myself actually, searching for answers, and unfortunately searching for answers outside of themselves, because honestly, I do believe that when we are posing a question to Google, to ourselves, to anyone else, we always kind of have an answer already embedded within our subconscious. But I will say it's so much fun, honestly, just going onto YouTube and checking out all of the content concerning soulmates or even twin flames, partnerships, anything of that nature. It's always really fun talking about relationships. I definitely enjoy talking about relationships because this is where I really, really, really go in. I really, really go in, and I'll tell you why in just a bit. I don't know about you, but I'm absolutely here for those videos, and hearing different perspectives always gives me life every time. So the 7th house, wow, I think I should contain myself here because the girl has Pluto in her 7th house, and if you don't know what that means, I will explain further on. So in the 1st house, it's all about self and who we are in the grand scheme of this complex universe, right? And then you have the 7th house, which is the complete opposite of that, and it describes the partner. So the type of partner you may attract romantically, even in business, and sometimes even your friends or even your best friends or people that you consider close to you. So the 7th house is the house of relationships. So literally any kind of relationship will be represented by this house. So to a certain extent, it also describes the type of partner. But then again, you also need to remember that Libra, which is the natural ruler of the 7th house, is a sign that is all about relations with people. And I don't really mean to say this, but we all will need someone who will choose us. Or maybe that's just like me having Scorpio in the 7th house. Maybe that's my Pluto talking. I don't know. But we all would like somebody that would choose us and just never give up on us and just love us unconditionally. I think all of us would like that, right? I don't think that's a bit far-fetched, right? I don't actually think so, because a lot of us are kind of in search. Well, not really in search. I think some of us are actively searching. I think a lot of us have probably given up on the search because of the way relationships are so tumultuous these days. It is absolutely, gosh, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. Honestly, relationships nowadays are just taxing and just a job on its own. Something that is actually meant to be so fun is now ridiculously complicated, and there's just a whole lot of themes to take into consideration, if I can put it that way. So yeah, I don't know if it's just me and my Scorpio and my Pluto in my 7th house. I don't know. But it's also very telling of how you may be in relationships as well. Are you, unorthodox? Are you unconventional? Are you untrusting? Are you a bit paranoid? Can you be a bit jealous? Are you kind of the happy-go-lucky, go with the flow, very passionate? Or are your relationships based on, intellectually stimulating conversations or stimuli? Or maybe you're just somebody who's just very, earthy and practical. And I've actually come across a lot of content whereby astrologers are saying that it is possible to predict when you will meet the one you will marry, or when you'll just meet the one, period. And that's usually when Jupiter is transiting your 7th house, because Jupiter is also an indication of your husband, and Venus is an indication of your wife, and Venus transiting your 7th house could mean, you as a guy or as a female, actually it's not gender specific, when you could meet your wife. So yeah, I'm not too sure if this is accurate. I mean, comment down below and let me know. But definitely do take it with a grain of salt. Just kind of comment and, let's have a conversation about what your planets were actually doing the day you might have met the one, or even the day you might have gotten married and really sealed your union. So the 7th house also rules legalities, and this is also the house of justice, because remember, Libra is all about balance, it's all about justice, it's all about fairness, it's all about equality. So definitely planets here can tell you a lot about how things could play out, and I even think, getting married, is also, it just makes so much sense, because obviously when you're getting married, you sign off things, you go to home affairs. Well, if you're listening from another country, you would obviously go to, your social services in your country. And well, I'm not too sure if that's even how it works in other countries. I'm not too sure about that. But here in South Africa, you would go to home affairs, sign papers off, and hopefully change your surname. Just kind of change your surname everywhere, essentially, like on your ID and all of that. So that's how it happens this side. I'm not too sure about other places, but just to give you a further or just painting the bigger picture, really, of just becoming one, and how that is and how that relates to the 7th house. So also take into account business partners that you may have. You also need to sign off a couple of papers with them as well, any legal papers, any non-disclosures, anything of that nature, or any relationship that you have with anyone actually will be disclosed in this house. It will also show you the type of relationships that you will have. Are they going to be intense? Are they going to be kind of go with the flowy? Are they going to be, 1 minute hot, the next minute cold? Really, the 7th house is, that house. Again, I cannot stress this enough. Please check the aspects to this house, because it's crucial to understanding your relations with people and how that will affect you and them. And if the aspects are afflicted, how you can work best with the energy, and afflicted meaning, if it's badly aspected with other planets. And yes, I am yet to do a video about aspects, but simply put, it's more telling of what is actually happening between planets and how that affects you in the long run. Especially if you're not aware of these energies within your chart, then it makes it very easy for you to kind of keep on repeating the same mistakes if you're not aware of what the possible mistakes could be. So while I also don't want to scare you, the 7th house is also the house of open enemies. So people really close to you, especially if you have planets here, people close to you may betray you. This is really like a Judas thing. It really is just, it's painful. I mean, I know it's quite sad, especially seeing as, the seventh house or Libra in general is just a sign that loves harmony, it loves balance. How could this even be a theme? Unfortunately, I don't know if you've ever heard of people who don't really like drama end up attracting it. Yeah, I've also never heard it. I'm just joking. But no, honestly, what an oxymoron. How can the house of relationships that brings me relations with people also bring me closer to my enemies? But anyway, it just is what it is. On a personal note though, because your girl likes bringing it right back, I have Pluto in my 7th house, and Scorpio rules my 7th house. I literally have the 7th house ruler in the 7th house. So my 7th house just be lit. If I could just put it that way. My relationships are tremendously intense. Sometimes I really just be asking myself, what is actually happening to me? Is it this person that's making me act this way? Is this person really bringing me because remember, Scorpio is that planet that brings things out into the open. It literally drags things out of the surface. So whatever is kind of lurking, it's definitely bound to come out. So whereas I generally think that I'm a cool, chilled person, people that are generally close to me just like to be pressing my buttons, and for some reason it really gets under my skin. And yeah, from there I am just like a rocket. It's a very interesting dynamic, because how people perceive you in the 1st house, in the 7th house, it's literally the opposite, as I've been saying. But at the end of the day, I'm almost always grateful for these relations or these encounters with people, or my relationships in general with people, because I always come out of it stronger, and I literally become a brand new person. If you betrayed me in any way, or me on a personal level, and you've done something really bad to me, then you probably did that a long time ago, and probably the person that you knew then is most definitely not the same person. So I can definitely say that my relations with people have definitely transformed me, and definitely for the best. And I'm not gonna lie though, this placement definitely has made me paranoid and very suspicious of bringing people close to me. You will hardly ever find me trying to establish relationships with people from the onset, because I'm just no new friends. I kind of have that vibe about me sometimes. But I have plenty of people with moon in Scorpio around me. That would include my mom, a couple of my friends. I also had an ex, a long-term relationship actually. One of my exes had a Scorpio moon, and I just always find myself gravitating towards either them or just Scorpio Sun people, and sometimes even Scorpio Venus people. But I think with the Scorpio Venus people, they are very good at hiding whatever it is that they may be feeling towards me. So I never quite know where I stand with them. So with a Pluto in the 7th house, I just find myself really in situations where those close to me just be taking daggers to my heart and to my back. And it's so frustrating, because here I am with all that fixed energy, all that fixation on you and our relationship, and all this goddamn loyalty. Hello, all this loyalty towards you, and there you go, and just ruin it. And it hurts so bad. You guys know how Scorpio is just known for being really intense and just really feeling the depths of everything. Literally. Now it just makes all the more sense, because when I started getting into astrology, I literally started being like, okay, this is why I'd be feeling a certain way, and literally be feeling like I can't breathe, literally because of a heartbreak. But you know, like I said, it hurts pretty bad, and sometimes it even gets to a point where I actually feel physically ill, because I will be thinking about the betrayal. I'll be thinking, how long has it been going on? I'll be thinking about my loyalty that I've given to you, my time, probably even my resources that I may have given you access to. So yeah, I really be going through the motions, and I'll be really banging my head against the wall, thinking about how stupid I was, you know. And obviously that's just part of the grieving process. That's just part of the, how can I say, that's just part of the shock as well. So it really gets intense. I really would be gutted. Honestly, I really would be gutted. I'd be brooding for long periods on end. But on the upside, when I do wipe my tears and get back into the world again, I am probably 100% sure that I'm going to be a different person. So, you know, keep those betrayals coming. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Please don't. It's also interesting to note that my 7th house, or anybody that has Scorpio on the cusp of the 7th house, your co-ruler is Mars. So, you know, Mars is on the cusp of the 12th house. So I'll generally lose a lot when it comes to betrayal. So this has definitely been the case for me. When there is a betrayal, I tend to lose my home, because I'm for sure moving out, because generally I've had, you know, relationships with people where I've lived with them. So I'll also lose my friends, because, you know, obviously you and your partner would have the same friends, so, or mutual friends. So, you know, you start distancing yourself from those people, and some of the time you even find out that the people who you thought were your friends actually knew about the betrayal all along, and you were technically the fool. So who's sticking around for that? Definitely not me. So wow, guys. It's intense. But I think also the zodiac sign on the cusp of the 7th house is also telling of how your relationships may be or even end up. So if you have a fire sign, which is Aries, Sagittarius, or Leo on the cusp of your 7th house, then your relationships may really start fast and really end fast, or you may feel abandoned, like the person may end up just leaving. Especially with Sagittarius here, definitely. If you have water here, so Pisces, Scorpio, or even Cancer, you could literally be a crybaby or just an emotional mess when it comes to, you know, your relationships, or you really could be emotionally led when it comes to your relationships. So I think y'all need to just take a moment to just USA, and even if you do, you know, come to the knowledge of a betrayal, just try not to go slit some tires, okay, or break somebody's window, or kill someone. Hopefully you won't, God. So if you have air here, whether that be Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius, it could be that you just really get bored very easily, or you could really just be unconventional in your relationships. And for earth signs, Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo, it could be that, you know, you really take your time getting to know somebody. You may even have enough patience to really wait out a relationship, maybe start out as friends and try and see where it goes. But the general theme here is that you take things really slow, like you go at your own pace. So if we really think about it, in essence, the 7th house is probably the most important house, because unlike the 1st house, it is about our relationships with people. You are not an island. And if you did hear that, that was my precious son in the background calling me for my attention. And ironically, he also has a moon in the 7th house. So I guess he just wanted to make an appearance in this video, but I actually don't even recall where I was. However, I think I was talking about the fact that the 7th house really is, I would say, probably the most important house, because you're not an island. You do need other people in your life to play, different roles, and your relationships with these individuals is kind of going to set the tone of how things will work out in your life. And it's not even with people, but also the relationship with ourselves, with our environment, again, with the people around us, with pets if we have any. Everything really is dependent on having a relation or a relating to something or someone, and the health of those relationships, is all found in the 7th house. So while the world may view you in a particular way because of your 1st house or your ascendant or your rising, mine being in Taurus, so people probably think I am, maybe slow. They might think of me as fashionable, maybe even feminine, perhaps even attractive, and then in my 7th house I'm like powerful. I feel like I can call the shots, and I really I'm really just what people would consider a control freak, but I don't even really know how, because a Gemini moon much. I always hope to bring clarity in the understanding or the study of astrology, and I hope you have understood a little bit more about the 7th house and its influence in your chart. In my next video, I will be discussing the 8th house and how that influences your chart. On that note, thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Show me some love and subscribe to my channel if you'd like and feel I have brought a value to your understanding of astrology. As always, your time spent is much appreciated. Till next time, you know what you do. So keep doing what you do. Peace, love, and most of all, light. I'm out.